Hello, everyone. Ava here, aka Miss Magitech, and I am here to give you all a episode 17 recap of SOS. As sadly, we lost the VOD for episode 17, so that was a live stream only episode. But we thought it would be nice to just give a little bit of a recap of what happened that episode so that if you are watching via VOD, you weren't able to tune in live, you can get an idea of what exactly happened in that episode with a bit of an Ava bias, as per usual. So let's get into it. What happened in episode 17? So we opened with Ollie. The scene opened with Ollie, who was meeting with his hunter contacts. And it's been a while since he had visited with them. And it's actually basically an all new cell that he was meeting with, led by somebody named Scarlett. And the goal of this meeting was really for Ollie to see if he could work with these hunters a bit more and maybe have them make a hit on Rose's bar, maybe deal with the Rose problem completely. Unfortunately, the conversation didn't really end the way I think Ollie wanted it to, or even the hunters. It kind of came to a stalemate. They tried to get them to agree to maybe meet more and discuss more and kind of exchange information. But honestly, Ollie has been dealing with these hunters for many years now. And I think it wasn't really going the way he wanted it to. So it was unclear if the hunters were actually going to take the information that Ollie gave about Rose's bar and actually do anything about it. So on Ollie's way out, he decided to do a little bit of obfuscate and sneaking around the hunter area and see if he could get a little bit more information on them or get something out of them before he left. And the good thing is he got a little more information on these hunters, but he also was able to acquire a walkie-talkie that they use for communication. And that he brought back to Ava. And the rest of the evening, we were absent of Dakota. So Ollie and Ava decided that it would be good to maybe get a charger, something to help us actually use this device to spy on the hunters a bit. Ollie's suggestion was to go to the pawn shop, the old lady at the pawn shop. The only issue is she doesn't really like Ollie and Ava very much. So Ollie came up with a great idea to maybe bring Nelson in, since she seems to have a soft spot for kids. Usually Dakota is the one that does most of the dealings with her. But Nelson, we decided to maybe bring him in. We head over to the theater to see if we could grab Nelson as he was ending his shift working at the theater with a large amount of cheesecakes in tow that he was taking back with him. Of course, Ollie was a little upset with Nelson for stealing the cheesecakes, but I think it's fine if he wanted to take some home, as he works at the theater. He's allowed to take some things home if he wants to. Nelson did agree to help us and head over to the pawn shop, get us a charger that we need for the device that we're able to now spy on the hunters if we want to, at least listen into their conversations via this walkie-talkie. Meanwhile, Ollie also decided to make a quick trip to the Witch of the Yards, as he got some extra stuff from the Fae, our last visit with Autumn, the Fae. And Ollie has been maintaining a pretty good relationship with the Witch of the Yards. So bringing some additional leaves and things and Fae things over to the witch kind of ensures that she may be able to help us more in the future. So Ollie did that quick dealing. And Ava caught up with Nelson a bit because it's been some time since Ava has seen Nelson. He doesn't come to visit the bar. He doesn't really talk much. He's been off doing his own thing. And Nelson seems to be still working at the theater, but also kind of moving around a bit. He's not always staying at Ollie's place. He did actually confront Ava a bit on their last interaction, where Ava blood bonded Nelson a bit, and Nelson, learning what blood bonding is from Saito, or at least the idea of it, was not too thrilled that Ava had tried to blood bond Nelson. But Ava didn't really do it out of any sort of malice. And the two of them kind of came to a consensus that she will not continue this blood bond and helped Nelson feed on somebody that wasn't herself. So when the three, Ollie, Nelson, and Ava, reconvened at the bar, there was actually a new guest that we had never seen before, and it happened to be a Ventru by the name of Edward Neely. And he was there to kind of meet us and perhaps propose some sort of negotiations with the coterie, as Mr. Neely has been on the outs, another Ventru on the outs, in different ways from Emmy's exile. He more has been seen as a bit fanatical. He's a bit Sabbat afraid, and he likes to think that we should all be worried about the Sabbat and that they may make their way to Chicago at some point, and we should all be worried. But he is kind of a bit not seen in the best of light with the Ventru. And so he offered to help find our Lasombra, Ava's little Lasombra, Celia, that he would help find her. Perhaps the fact that she is more involved with a media conglomerate could be of use to the Camarilla and to the Ventru, and that if he finds Celia, he would return her to Ava, but also present himself and Celia back into the Camarilla. And perhaps that is something that we could all work with together. It's a little suspicious that this Neely knows about Celia and knows that Ava has been dealing with Celia. It's a little sus, if you ask me, but Ava did agree to his terms, at least for now. She's kind of the one who made the negotiations and agreed to this. So it's more of a thing between her and Neely. And if he does, she really just wants to find Celia. So if he does find her, then we can decide if it's worth presenting him back to the Camarilla and the Ventru. So the final things that happened in our episode 17 was, first of all, Ollie did ask why Ava was so set on Celia. And Ava did explain that she wants to help this fledgling. She really feels like whatever is happening to the Lasombra in Chicago, she doesn't want it to happen to Celia. They're all feeling this call, whatever is exactly happening. And this hurts. In Ava talking about this a little bit, it invoked a premonition that she kind of forced herself to have, actually, as she was seeing things about Celia. And Ava did have a vision that she saw Celia along with other Lasombra, all looking in one direction toward a shadow. And they were all feeling a call to this shadow. And the exact words used by Mathis was manifest destiny. And it was an interesting vision that Ava had, but felt more compelling as to what we need to do to help Celia and to figure out what is happening with these Lasombra in Chicago. The final scene, and where we ended on a cliffhanger for episode 17, was a text that Nelson received from one of his thin blood friends, Saoirse, her name was. She needed help. Help was the text, and we went right to her. And we found that Saoirse was shot, her jaw almost completely shot off. She was attacked, and with a little bit of investigation looking through her phone, we found that she was in connection with Genghis. And with a little bit of our own deductions, we suspected that it was Layla and her hunters that attacked Saoirse, the thin blood, because of the connection to Genghis, and that Ollie was able to give some information about Genghis to Layla. So we grabbed Saoirse, the thin blood, and brought her back to the bar, and that is where things ended for us in episode 17. So hope you all enjoyed this little recap. Sorry that we don't have the full episode for you, but I'm pretty sure I covered every scene and all of the good details, the good juicy details that you need to know for this episode. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye.